folks, and welcome back to another episode of Pinal Prep Spotlight, brought to you by 911 Air Repair, your local air conditioning expert specializing in maintenance, repair, and new installations. We might seem a little bit taller, we don't know. Oscar's the magic man behind the camera, but we are going through some transitions here, so things in the future might be a bit different, but hey, we're going with the flow. Anyways, besides our technical issues over here on our end, we are kind of giving you guys our mid-season review for this episode. There are about two weeks or so left before the playing round starts for baseball and softball. So for this episode, we're just kind of going to talk about what we're seeing so far. David, any surprises or things that stand out for you so far?
I wouldn't necessarily say surprises, more things kind of come into form like we sort of thought they were going to be. I think the biggest winner for baseball right now this season is going to be Santa Cruz Valley down in Eloy. They're down a really solid start. I think they've only lost one game so far. And, in the last game that I saw them play against Heritage Academy, it was a very different game that they're used to playing. They were blowing out teams left and right to start the year, but then that was the first real game where they were tested. The offense wasn't necessarily there. The pitching was able to do its job of keeping, an opposing batters, at bay, but the offense just wasn't really clicking there. But they were able to keep their wits about them, win on a walk-off, which was really solid for them, and I think that's just kind of the identity of this team is just continue to show why they deserve to be in this spot, and I think their goal is to not go to a play-in. Their goal is to bypass it completely, whether that be winning the region or just having it based on rankings. So I think that's kind of what their goal is going to be, and I think they have the right path to get there. It's just going to come down to how can they do against the region. They have some really solid teams in that region. Softball, for me, it's kind of more, again, Santa Cruz. I'm going to go to them again. The baseball-softball dynamic at Santa Cruz has been, very lacking on the baseball side the last couple of years, while softball has continued to dominate. Now they're both kind of on a level playing field here, and it's really going to come down to can they get past play-ins, bypass it completely, and eventually get to show why they deserve to be there. Because we've seen plenty of times where, Santa Cruz specifically for softball, where they get to the championship or they get to the tournament and they're just not the same team. They run into really tough teams, run into really much more skilled opponents than they're used to facing. So it's going to come down to those points. So for me, it's going to be looking at Santa Cruz throughout the rest of the season and see what comes out of it after the play-ins and into the tournament.
So, looking at baseball, I have two things that stand out for me. The first one is Poston Butte. Poston Butte is known as one of our powerhouse teams. This year so far, they are around ranked 30 or so, which is very low for a Poston Butte team that we've become accustomed to what they can do. But unfortunately, like I mentioned early on in the season, this is kind of a complete rework year for them. Under new head coaches, new coaching staff, a lot of their key players from the past couple of years who have been staples in the program and garnered that success, they have moved on. So I feel like this Poston Butte team is kind of going through those growing pains this season. And then top team for me, it's Apache Junction. Who would have thought? The Prospectors moving down to 3A has really worked in their favor so far this week in the AIA Power Rankings. They start off at number 7, and a big reason for that is their pitching staff. Austin Sherman and Aiden Mead have done a tremendous job. Both of these guys are seniors. They are around 20 innings pitched, Mead 30 Ks, Sherman 37. And for Sherman, opponents are batting .189 against him. So, hey, look out for this Apache Junction team. They are in a very difficult region, going up against Florence, Chandler Seton Catholic, Chandler Valley Christian, which is always a formidable opponent in any sport. So, hey, these Prospectors are an exciting team that we really need to be keeping our eye on. And then for softball, I feel like softball, everything is kind of going according to plan. A couple surprises for me are Coolidge. I didn't expect them to be this good. They are kind of in the same boat as Poston Butte, being under a new head coach, not really having that solid ace in the circle, but overall they have been managing to claw their way through games. ALA Anthem South, a 2A team, just in their second or third season. Now this team is a really positive bright spot because when talking to their head coach, she mentioned that majority of these girls, this is their first season ever playing softball. And right now, looking at this week's rankings, they're starting off at number 17. So I got to give kudos to ALA Anthem South. But I got to say, kind of our biggest not surprised, but just kind of trending in the right direction is Maricopa. Like many of our teams, Maricopa moved down from 6A to 5A, and I feel like this is really the spot where they should be in. And so far, they are coming in at number 22. They're kind of hanging in that bubble. The next couple of weeks is going to be tough for them because they're going to be finishing up the regular season, going up against Vista Grande and Casa Grande Union. Those two games against Casa Grande Union, hey, if they can possibly sneak a win in one of those, they are going to solidify a spot in being in those top 24. David, anything else you want to add?
Yeah, plenty of surprises. Like you mentioned, we've seen some teams kind of rise to the occasion, but then some teams that we were expecting to be pretty decent fall off a little bit. So that's kind of been the playing field so far for baseball and softball throughout Pinal County so far, and it's just going to come down to which teams get hot at the right time and can they squeak into a play-in round or even bypass it. We'll have to wait and see what happens.
As always, be sure to check out Pinal Central for all of your local sports coverage.